most enduring qualities of this town is the passion that is shared by the citizens of this town. Passion is a good thing. When that passion turns to anger, it can be very destructive. There's been a lot of passion shown on both sides of this topic. Unfortunately, some of that passion is starting to turn to anger. There are a lot of thoughts, ideas, and plans that have been discussed. As is often the case, these thoughts are often misquoted and or misrepresented. There begins the problem of false accusations and false statements. Prior to this topic being brought before this board by a small group in a meeting on June 9th, 2014, we had never discussed this idea, nor had I ever given any thought to it. Once it was presented to this board, I personally thought it might have some validity and value to the town. I looked at it as a way to help our various business owners. I thought that increased traffic or a new innovative way to travel to these locations might be beneficial to these businesses. Since this idea was initially presented to us, I've had over 100 conversations with town residents, out-of-town residents, business owners, public officials, locally and out of the area. I've spoken with law enforcement officials, locally and across the border. I've spoken with law enforcement, including our own sheriff and a retired sheriff. I've also conversed with DNR officials and snowmobile club members. Some of these conversations were with owners of ATVs and some were not owners. All of these conversations were prefaced with the statement, any thoughts or ideas expressed here are strictly mine. There's been no conversation between myself and any other board member regarding this issue. When I first ran for this office, I posted my private cell phone number and all of my campaign material. Since being elected, I've continued to use my personal cell phone number as a means for citizens to reach me. I never refuse to converse with or meet with anyone who has thoughts or concerns about any issues in this town. I've regularly met with a variety of people on a variety of subjects. It's very disconcerting that all of these conversations, one conversation was repeated earnestly at our recent town board meeting. I was very dismayed that after many residents came to speak, the order was given that there would be no comments about the ATV subject at that meeting, with one exception. That resident had a carefully scripted speech, which in summation stated that I wanted to ride my ATV to my neighbor's house to drink beer. And I said that people could ride their ATVs to local bars to drink beer. That was a gross misrepresentation of the truth. During my meeting with Sue Milligan and her people, I did say that I would like, after working my yard all day, to be able to ride down my neighbor's house and have a cold beer with her. I also said that I could ride my bicycle, my lawn tractors, my farm tractors, my car, my truck, or a horse. The state of Wisconsin gave me that right 41 years ago. What I did not say was that anyone could ride to local restaurants and meet with their friends and have a beer. What I did say was that licensed riders could ride down to the local businesses and have a sandwich. When people choose to drink with their meal, is strictly their business. It is even more disturbing that a 2-hour conversation was reduced to my wanting people to drink beer in a town would need more public safety people on the streets. I'm not sure why anyone would not want more public safety or sheriff's police in their neighborhood. I would think that residents would welcome more protection. I would like to add that as one of my functions in both my real estate boards, I serve as a mediator. Most of the disputes I mediate involve large amounts of money. As a mediator, I've been trained that after both parties present their case, I separate the parties and have private conversations with each side. When I have these conversations, I take an opposing view of the party I'm interviewing. This usually helps get the parties to think about the other side and see the other point of view. This does not mean that I favor one side or another. Henceforth, in this or any other topic of this type that has come before this board, I've often played the devil's advocate. This in no way goes to say that I'm either for or against a topic. I've never rendered a decision until I've completed my due diligence. One troubling thing that came out of this conversation, and Mrs. Milligan has mentioned several times, is that she has a neighbor who repeatedly drives past her house, sometimes with a small child on board, and sometimes doing wheelies. When I asked her if she had recalled a public safety department or the sheriff's department, she said no. As to why, she said because the offender was a neighbor, she did not want him doing anything to her or her property. The underlying sentiment here is that we don't want to give someone an opportunity for something new, but we don't want to enforce the current laws. If people are not going to help us then, help us. If people are not going to help us, help them. We're never going to resolve a lot of the problems we're faced with here. I remember back in the 1960s when snowmobiles first became popular in this area. My dad brought home a snowmobile and I was allowed to ride it. Fortunately, we live in an area with a lot of open land. There were a lot of other people in our town who had snowmobiles and did not live near open land. Were not able to ride out of their yards and enjoy their new machines. They were forced to trailer them to areas that were designated for such use. In the beginning, there were not many such areas. It took a lot of time to develop a trail system that was compatible to the riders and property owners. Today, we have trails statewide that are open to people. This has become a large part of our state's economy. It was in this vein that I looked at this proposal initially. When this idea was initially proposed, it was with the thought that residents would like to ride from one end of the subdivision to the other to visit friends, go to lake, launch a boat, etc. This issue was never meant to be a distraction or a reason for division. At this point, the numbers of people who have spoken for this idea, the numbers who are against, I would suggest that the people who would like to see this happen collect enough signatures and place this on the ballot for referendum in November. Unfortunately, only registered voters will be able to make the ultimate decision on this issue. It matters not how much or how many properties an individual owns, or how much one pays in taxes. It also does not take into consideration the absentee owners or people who own property in our beautiful town but do not maintain a primary residence here. Let's let the voters decide. Thank you all.